you see John Tortorella said that this upcoming season is as important as maybe any, is forging you guys' identity?
Absolutely.
Do you players view it the same way?
I
And
do.
why?
I do, because I think anyone can have one great season, but if you put a consistent season together with another one and another one and another one, now you're for real. Now you're starting to put yourself in the category of a dominant team year in and year out that teams aspire to be. And I think a lot of teams hated the way we played because we were hard to play against, and that's a huge compliment. But the only way you get success is by doing it over again. You know, you talk about players in this league, and we say the same thing. The guys that come and do it year in and year out are the ones you respect and appreciate the most, and we need to be that team. We need to be those players that everyone had great years last year, have to do it again. You have to find a way to be even better, and that's the challenge that's facing our team right now. Is we're at a pivotal point in our careers as players and as a team, and to move this thing forward, we're all going to have to dig a little deeper and find a way to become that team. And I think the guys are excited about that challenge because it's a good challenge to have. You're putting yourself in elite company, and we want that.
Everything you just said about the team applies to you almost twice as much. You know, finding a way to get, because you are coming up a very good season. You're coming up a great season in terms of your development as captain. How do you take the next step?
I just got to continue to go about my business and be a little selfish again. That's really what I did last year. I got to be selfish in the way I prepare myself. Be selfish in the way I think to start, because I got to get myself prepared to play this season. And it's not worrying about everyone through training camp. It's not worrying about what's coming. It's day one, getting through the first day, the first test, and then going from there. And I think when I do that, I start gaining confidence in my abilities. Things start to come to you naturally because you're not forcing it. And that's one thing I've definitely learned, is just to go about my business the way I need to, and then everything will fall into its place. And I got great guys around me to help pick me up when I need to, or pick up certain areas, and you got to trust that as well as a team.
Nick, they talked about the center position, and Yarmo said depending upon what happens, you could play center, Boone could play center, and I know you've done it here before, but when you're talking about these kinds of challenges, does it matter to you what they ask you to do?
No. That's part of being a team. Wherever you're put into, you just try to do your best you can in that situation. And I would embrace the challenge of playing center if need be, because that's what the team needs me. So it's a great opportunity to help your team and to put yourself in a situation that you can be relied upon in certain areas and different situations. And as a player, I think you selfishly you want that. You want to be relied upon in all certain areas of the game. And so I would be excited about that opportunity. But if not, then I'm just going to go about being the best left or right winger or center, or defenseman or goalie that I can be. And I think Bob's got the goalie position locked down. We'll let him have that.
You let him play forward, and then he could hug you at the end of the game.
Exactly. That'd be kind of nice for a change. But no, that to me is the biggest thing. Is whatever the team needs. I think any guy is willing to help, because we know how special a thing we got going here.
Torch said that you and he sat down and talked, and obviously not going to ask you what was in that conversation, but from your standpoint, to have a guy that brings you in and pushes you to get better off the ice as well as on the ice, even if you don't like what he says in a certain situation, how much do you appreciate the fact that he cares enough to push you that way?
I love that. I think at first you kind of fight it because you're in a comfort zone. Everyone is. I mean, the one thing for athletes is they have their comfort zone, but in order to get the best out of an athlete is you have to get them out of it. And Torch does that to everybody, myself included. And I think it makes you that much better, because you're always cognizant of what you can do better, of where else you can go with your game. And he's always challenging you for that. And I really appreciate that. And not only as a player, but as a person, as a leader, looking at things differently, and but then also making you stand true to the way your values are as well. And if he does push in a certain way, and you got to push back in certain areas too. So I've really enjoyed that relationship with him, and I think we've both made each other better, because we both bring something different to the table, and I think it's helped push our team along.
And he makes you push back, right? I mean, he tests you to push back.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you're just going to be a yes man, that's not going to help the group either. And it's not that we have our arguments, but it's if you feel strongly enough about something, then you gotta push back and explain why. Because if he's going to push the other way, then you got to feel good about it when you leave that room. And I think that's something that we've grown at together and have mutual respect for, because we're both just trying to make this team better. It's never personal with Torts, with anyone, not just myself, with any guy. When you walk in there, it's about making this team better. And that's what you want as a guy that's at the helm of this thing, is you just want to know that he's trying to make this team as good as it can be, and this is the way he knows how.
Last time you were on a team here that started the season with a lot of expectations, it fell flat early and it wasn't good. Last year, no expectations, you did great. Going into this year, those expectations being back, is the focus on doing it right, starting right now today?
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing for people to understand too is we always have expectations. The outside is the difference, and that's what I think we've grown as to quiet that noise. You're going to have that year after year, whether it's, oh, we don't think these guys are going to make it, or we think these guys are the best team in the world. We have a quiet expectation in our room of what we need to be night in and night out, and we've started to harness that more than anything and not listen to the other stuff that doesn't matter. We know what's going on in our room and what type of team we need to be, and I think that's really the change that's gone on here, is that we have that ability to now quiet the noise outside and push forward with the group that we expect to be every night, and that's going to be the difference maker going in this camp.